Hello everyone and welcome to Financing Your Degree and Scholarships Explained, and thank you for taking the time to join me today wherever you are in the world. I'd like to start today's presentation by acknowledging the traditional owners and the land on which I speak to you from today, the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. My name is Kieran and I'm from the Future Students team at the University of Melbourne, and I'll be with you for a little while this evening talking to you about all things fees and scholarships. We get a lot of questions about these topics, so hopefully you'll pick up some useful information in this session. If you do have any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A box that's on the right-hand side of your screen. I'm joined by a team of, I guess, who can only be described as legends in the background, who are there ready to answer your questions and provide you with all the information that you need. We'll also provide some useful links in this chat as well. So if we're talking about things which we think might need more information, then we'll pop a useful link in the chat for you to have further information. If you have any questions related to a particular topic or situation that's very specific to you, I'm afraid we won't have a chance to answer these in this session. But please hold on to these questions and I'll give you some information at the end of the session for how to get in touch with us and get these questions answered. This session is being recorded and will be available to watch again shortly after the session finishes, and you can access it by logging into the Attendee Hub as you have done to watch me live this evening. So if you find this session useful, miss anything, or just want to change from Netflix, then you can watch again very easily at your own leisure. Okay, so what will we cover in today's session? So this session will cover different types of fees for domestic and international students, university-wide scholarships, and then how to find these on the website, which is a really great resource, which we'll show you later. Okay, so to kick things off, so Commonwealth supported places. So a Commonwealth supported place is a place at the university where the government pays part of your fees. A CSP, as it's also known, is a subsidy, not a loan, and you don't have to pay this part back. The subsidy doesn't cover the entire cost of your studies. So that's really important to know. So, okay, it doesn't cover the whole cost of your fees. The remaining portion of the cost is called the student contribution amount. And this is the payment that you are responsible for paying yourself. The amount is determined by the subjects you enroll in and not the overall course you're studying, okay? We'll pop a little fee calculator in the chat for you. So if you're interested in a bit more information about what your potential degree that you're interested in might study and what you're eligible for to pay for, then you can have a quick look at that. So our team will pop that in the chat for you as well. Okay, so payments. So tuition fees are charged yearly and you pay for your tuition fees according to the specific enrollment in any given semester. Okay, so the amount of subjects you enroll in any given semester. If you have a CSP, or a Commonwealth supported place, you can pay for your course fees upfront when you enroll, or you can defer part or all of your payment through FEEHELP. Now, FEEHELP is a government loan scheme that helps eligible students pay for part or all of your student contribution amount. Okay, so the bit that you're eligible for, you can defer that to FEEHELP. A FEEHELP loan, importantly to remember, does not cover costs like accommodation, laptops, or textbooks. A FEEHELP loan is used purely for your tuition. Okay, so the bit that you're responsible to pay for. And again, for more information on FEEHELP, the different bits and pieces, the nuances with it, please have a quick look at that chat and there'll be a link posted there for you. All the students enrolling into a Commonwealth supported place are required to submit a request for Commonwealth support and FEEHELP form, which is completed during your online enrolment. And this is done regardless of your eligibility to defer payments via FEEHELP or not. Okay, so you have to complete that anyway. So who's eligible? Okay, who's eligible for a Commonwealth supported place? Well, Commonwealth supported places at the university are available to Australian and New Zealand citizens, Australian permanent residents, and holders of permanent humanitarian visas. Okay, but just being eligible for these, so just meeting those criteria, doesn't necessarily mean that you're eligible for a CSP. Okay, you'll still need to meet the academic entry requirements to get into the course as well. Okay, so that's really important to remember. Okay, so how do you get a CSP? The first thing you want to do is check if the course that you want to study actually offers Commonwealth supported places. And you can do this by visiting the course-specific website, so Study Uni Melb, and then selecting the course that you want to choose. If you go to the top banner there, you can see course overview, what will I study, and you can see fees and scholarships. Clicking on that section there, and then on the bottom, you'll see the Commonwealth supported places are available for the course. Now, this information will tell you whether there's CSP places available or not. Okay, so this is a really great resource just to start. So it's just a note that not all courses offer CSP places. Okay, so the first thing you need to do to check if you're eligible is check out the website for the particular course that you're interested in studying in, and check out the fees and scholarships and see the relevant information there. Okay. It's worth noting that you're automatically assessed for your eligibility for a CSP when you apply for the course. Okay, so there's nothing particular you need to do. You will automatically be assessed for this. And to find out if you've received a Commonwealth supported place, well, this will be in your offer letter. So when you receive an offer for your course, you'll also have an offer for a CSP place as well, or not, if that is the case. So if you don't have a CSP, can you transfer to one later on? Well, if you're a domestic full fee paying student, it may be possible to transfer to a CSP place later on once you're enrolled in a course, but that depends very much on, in particular, to each graduate school. Okay, so it may vary depending on between schools, but if places are available for a CSP, you will be contacted by your graduate school if you are eligible. So other fees. So as well as tuition fees, there are other fees that you may be eligible for as well. So as well as your tuition, you'll need to pay a Student Services and Amenities Fee, or a SSAF. And this goes towards providing you with essential services and support when you study with us. The amount you charge will depend on whether you're full-time or part-time, so the amounts will vary depending on what your circumstances are. And you'll also need to factor in additional costs associated with your course as well, which might include cost of textbooks, equipment, any technology that you might need to purchase as part of your course as well. And it goes without saying, you'll also need to consider the living costs as well. So being in Melbourne, accommodation, the food that you need to eat, weekly bills, transport to and from the university, any social activities you want to take part in, and any club memberships that you might want to be involved in as well. So when you're talking about fees, consider the overall picture and the overall cost of studying with us. It's not just the tuition. Okay, you need to consider the whole package as part of the deal. Okay, the next category we're going to look at is Australian fee place. So if you don't get offered a Commonwealth supported place, you'll receive an offer for an Australian fee place. Now, this isn't subsidised by the Commonwealth government, and again, you're automatically considered for an Australian fee place if you meet the entry requirements. Okay. Now, these tuition fees are calculated based on your course and study load per semester, with the exception of the Office for Environmental Programmes graduate courses, which are subject-based. Okay. If you're enrolled as an Australian fee-paying student, you can pay for your course fees upfront when you enroll in your course, or you can defer part or all of your payment through FEEHELP. So not HEPS, it's a slightly different scheme, but this one's through FEEHELP. FEEHELP is a loan that's available to eligible students in domestic fee-paying places to help them pay for part or all of their tuition fees. But please note that the Australian government does set limits on how much you can accumulate, so it doesn't let you borrow. There's a limit on how much you can borrow and how much debt you can accumulate. So if you have borrowed already, then just please just be aware of these limits. As with HECS, the FEEHELP loan does not cover the costs like accommodation, laptops, or textbooks, so it's just for paying your tuition fees as part of the course. And there are lots of different eligibility criteria as well. So there's a bit more detail around applying for this one and a bit more things to consider. And to make it easy for you guys, I've just popped a little QR code on the screen for you there. So if you want a bit more information on the eligibility criteria, then give that a scan. It'll take you to the relevant website where you can read a bit more information about this. Okay, and the next one, international fee place. So as an international student, you'll enter your course as a full fee paying student. Your tuition fees are based on the course you choose and your study load, not the subjects you study. Again, with the exception of the Office for Environmental Programmes. And as a full fee paying student, you won't need to pay the SSAF fee. And this one is covered by the university. Okay, so as a full fee paying student, you're not eligible for this cost. But as with the other fee types, you'll also need to consider the living costs associated with studying at Melbourne. So accommodation, food, weekly bills, transport, social activities, any club memberships, and all those sort of things. And it's worth noting that when accepting your offer of admission to the university, as an international student, you'll pay a deposit of 17,000 Australian dollars. And this payment is credited towards your first instalment of tuition fees as well. Okay, so that deposit you pay goes towards your first set of fees that you're eligible to pay as well. If you're applying for a student visa, you're also required to pay the compulsory overseas student health cover, the OSHC. And the amount listed will be given on your offer letter as well. So all the information you'll need will be given to you upon offer. Now this is a requirement of the Department of Home Affairs and requires almost all students that require a visa to have overseas health cover. Now further information can be found on this in the link that we'll post in the chat. And it's worth noting as well that international students will all be invited to an orientation session closer to your enrolment, and all of this information will be covered during those sessions as well. So fear not, I know there's quite a bit of information to cover in this session, but more information will be given to you at the relevant time, and more information on this session will be sent out closer to the date as well. Okay, so we're just going to touch on some scholarships, and the first one I want to mention is Graduate Access Melbourne. So Graduate Access Melbourne is the University of Melbourne's equity entry scheme for domestic graduate students. So if you're applying for a graduate degree and have experienced or are experiencing disadvantage, you may be eligible for Graduate Access Melbourne. So how can Graduate Access Melbourne help you? Well, Graduate Access Melbourne may assist you to gain admission into a graduate degree, even if your tertiary marks are below entry requirements. So that's really important. Your circumstances that are raised as part of your graduate access application are also taken into account for a Commonwealth support in place. And under the Graduate Access Melbourne, you're also considered for a Melbourne Graduate Access Bursary of $5,000 as well. Eligibility. So to be eligible, be an Australian or New Zealand citizen or an Australian permanent resident. And your circumstances need to fit into at least one of these categories. So it can fit into more than one, but it has to fit into at least one. Okay, and you need to demonstrate the capacity to succeed in the master's degree of your choice. Okay, so that's really important as well. So you have to be able to show that you have the capacity to complete the graduate level study as well. Okay, so how do you apply for Graduate Access Melbourne? Now, further information is going to be listed in the chat on how to apply, but so there's 4 very basic steps. The first thing being you choose your graduate degree that you'd like to apply for. So again, visit the course website and you can apply direct through there. Apply for your course. And then as part of your application, you complete the Graduate Access Melbourne application question. And there's a complete a supplementary form as well. Now, not everyone has to do this supplementary form. And as I said, further details on this can be found in the chat in the link that we post. So 4 very easy steps. And as I said, if you have been disadvantaged or are being disadvantaged currently, then please consider completing a Graduate Access Melbourne as part of your application. Okay, scholarships. So some graduate schools offer specific scholarships to students undertaking courses in that school. And it's really important to note that most of these scholarships don't require any application from you. As part of your application to the course, a lot of these scholarships are automatically assessed when you apply for the course itself. So there's nothing further you need. If you're successful for one of these scholarships, you'll receive confirmation of this in your offer letter. So when you receive an offer letter for the course, if you're successful for a scholarship, you'll also receive a confirmation of this as well. You can also find scholarships available to specific courses on the graduate school website. So on that page that I showed you earlier on, under the fees and scholarships section, if there's scholarships available for that particular course or that particular graduate school, you'll find information in there as well. And it'll list all the different things that and the criteria you have to meet if there are any scholarships available. I think in the last session, there was advice about do your homework, and I've kind of got the same sentiment really. So there's a great website that we have, which I've listed there, scholarships.udmel.edu.au, and there is a really great resource. So scholarships aren't just for high achievers, there are scholarships available for many different situations, and every scholarship has different eligibility criteria. So there's likely one that you're going to be eligible for if you're thinking of applying for a scholarship. So this is a really great website, scholarships.udmel.edu. And it'll take you to this page, which you can see on the right hand side. And you can, as you can see, you can choose whether you're starting a course or studying for a course. It then allows you to filter whether you're a domestic or an international student. You can filter further by the level of study that you want to complete. So in this case, it would be graduate coursework. So you can click on that. And then further, you can filter by the area of study that you want. So by selecting one of these studies, It'll then bring up a list of scholarships that are suitable just for you in your circumstances. And the really great thing about this resource is that it'll tell you all the eligibility criteria, what the award is that you'll get, and if you have to actually apply for this scholarship or not. It could well be a case like with some of the graduate school scholarships that you don't actually have to apply for these. You'll be automatically considered. But all the information will be listed there, and it is a really great website. So, and I think the team in the background are going to post that link in the chat for you as well. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is. If you're interested in receiving funding or looking for funding, do your homework, have a look on this website and spend some time filtering through the different things that are available for you. And as I said, there's lots of different scholarships, so there's likely one that you will find that you're eligible for. Okay, that's it from me this evening. I hope you found this session useful and informative. If we haven't had a chance to answer your question this evening, or you have more that you want to ask, please get in touch with our team using the QR code that's on your screen now. And a plug for the next session, if you are interested in studying veterinary or agricultural sciences, then be sure to register for the session that starts at 8 p.m. Australia time, so in around 40 minutes. And that will be another super session. So anyone who's interested in that, please register and join the guys with veterinary and agricultural sciences. Thanks for taking the time for joining me this evening. Good luck with the next stage of your journey, whatever that may be, and enjoy the rest of your evening.